Dynamo is dead, Omegle is dead, and David Copperfield is not dead. All of this and more in today's episode of Magic News. Roll the intro. Still don't have an intro. Need an intro. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Magic News, and today is a bit of a sort of random one. I don't want to focus on just one topic. It's been a busy month for Magic, so I just want to talk about a lot of different things that I have seen happening in the Magic world and that I think are interesting. I want to start with something very random that I just stumbled across while I was watching YouTube. I was watching a Josh and Archie video, and suddenly they started to talk about the sponsor of the video, which is very common. I'm sure we've all seen YouTubers say, and today's video is sponsored by, and there's the usual contenders, right? Squarespace and AirUp is a big one at the moment. Obviously NordVPN are always sponsoring YouTube videos. So I thought it was going to be one of those, but it was Ellusionist on just like a random non-magic video. Now yes, Archie from Josh and Archie is a magician, and so it kind of makes sense, but the video wasn't to do with magic. It was just a random sponsorship from a magic company, and it really got me thinking, like, I've never seen that happen before. I'm not against it at all. I think it's brilliant. I think that Ellusionists definitely should be doing that, and magic in general should be trying to reach a wider audience so that more people can get into magic, and I think that's a good thing. But it's just really surprising. I don't know why I was just so taken aback by it. I just thought it was interesting. Next topic is, Shuffle Up Convention. Yes, I went to Shuffle Up Convention, which was a cardistry / playing card convention in London. It was great to meet a few of you who came up and said you watched the channel, and I got some footage as well. So let's roll that footage, and then I'll talk to you after about the big headlines in this video.
By far the best deck in my collection.
Someone you might know, someone you might recognise. The Cardian, good pals. Are you kidding me? That's incredible.
I'm trying to myself
That's
know.
incredible. So yeah, that was Shuffle Up Convention. I also got this lovely cardistry tote bag with people dropping playing cards. Love that. And the ticket was only £30. And look at the number of playing cards I got. I mean, I can barely hold them in one hand. These were just the ones that I got for free, included with the tickets. On to the next story. Omegle is dead. That is right. Earlier this month, Omegle closed its doors completely. The site shut down with not very much notice either. It just seemed to kind of die in a second. And if you don't know, Omegle was the site where you randomly connected via video chat to a stranger. And this is big news for the magic community, especially on social media, because it was very common for magicians to go on Omegle and show strangers magic tricks via video chat. Even I jumped on the bandwagon and showed strangers magic on Omegle, and while I do think it is a bit of a loss for the magic community, I do not think it will be any time before we see a replacement that becomes just as popular. I've already seen a couple of replacements floating about that people have been using, but something will come along and fill the void that Omegle has left. I do not think that that will be a long-term issue, but it is interesting that these sites can just close down without really any warning. Anyway, next story. You would have to be living under a rock to not know about this next story, and that is David Copperfield. David Copperfield is returning, and he is vanishing the moon. Now, I say David Copperfield is returning. He's never really gone away. He's still been doing his stage shows, and he's been doing that for a very long time, but he's certainly returning to the TV with a big stunt. Unlike any we have seen for a very long time. I mean, vanishing the Statue of Liberty is obviously the #1 thing that jumps to mind, but there's been so many of those big David Copperfield moments, like moments that have really spread into the language of like mainstream media. Like vanishing the Statue of Liberty is so iconic, but also, you know, walking through the Great Wall of China springs to mind. And even things like the buzzsaw trick, you know, all of those things are almost like classics of magic. Even though David Copperfield is still a current magician, he's still around, those almost feel like moments of history already. To be honest, I feel this way about a couple of magicians, that they've created classic moments of magic even though they're still current magicians. Like David Blaine springs to mind as one of those magicians. There are certain stunts he's done as well that are just intrinsic to the language of magic already, and I think that is such a big statement on how much impact they've had in the magic community. But David Copperfield, just to focus back on him, he is vanishing the moon. We don't really know too many details about it at the moment. We certainly don't know anything about method or exactly what the stunt is going to look like, but there's a lot of promotion going behind this. I certainly am very excited. I'm going to be making a video after he's done it, analysing the illusion and probably analysing a couple of his other big stunts as well. I think it's fantastic for the magic community to have these big comebacks, to have these names remain as big as they are. Like David Copperfield, he's almost a mythical creature at this point, you know what I mean? But before David Copperfield vanishes the moon, Dynamo is going to make a comeback of his own, but he might not survive? This is a weird one. It's called Dynamo is Dead. It's going to be broadcast live on Sky Max, and the feature-length show will see Dynamo defy the odds and go beyond magic, burying himself alive. Again, we're not sure if this is an escape, if it's a sort of David Blaine endurance stunt, if it's a magic trick. Again, the details are very, very hazy. Dynamo is Dead will see the magician go on a journey of both loss and hope. In the darkness, Dynamo hit rock bottom after challenging battles with his mental health and the loss of his identity. But then in the light, he found strength in sharing his climb to recovery and rebirth as he moves into the next phase of his life and career. This definitely seems like, yeah, a rebirth for Dynamo. Dynamo kind of vanished out of the public eye for quite a while. He wasn't doing shows, he wasn't doing TV shows, so I think it's good to see that he is back, and I personally am very excited to see him return, because he was one of the main influences back in the early days when I was getting into magic. He was on TV, and he's really one of the reasons that I became a magician, among a lot of other reasons. So I'm very excited to see what this will involve, if it will involve a rebrand of Dynamo in some way. Like I say, will he become Stephen Frame from this point on? Will Dynamo as a name be retired? We can only watch and see, but in some way he will be buried alive. I'm interested to see how that will unfold. But there we go, that is this episode of Magic News, a little rundown of some of the top stories in Magic this month. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit the thumbs up button down below, and if you are new to the channel, if you like anything to do with magic, this is the channel for you. Make sure to hit the subscribe button on your way out, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, take care.